Chairman, House Committee Gas, Honorable Nicholas Mutu, welcome you once again. Chairman, House Committee Downstream, Honorable Mahmoud Gaya, we welcome you once again. The GMD and Nnpc, we welcome you again, sir. And of course, I'm aware we have the director of DPR, we have the director of PEF also in the room. We welcome all of you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Of course, cities like Canada and their likes, it's been said that from years ago, there's a study done from 20 years ago, another done recently. The skyline of countries like Canada became clearer and healthier because they made a deliberate switch to gas as a source of fuel for most of their industries and most of the things they do in generating power. And it gave them a clearer air, it gave them a more healthier environment. Now, with more and more effort by our government to switch to gas to power our industries, to power our power generation, and ultimately to ensure that cars on the streets are driven by the same. What that simply means is that even though we have not contributed so much to the green gas emissions globally, we are playing our part in reducing our own CO2 emissions in the world, and that, I think, it is something the administration is handling ever so well. So gas, as many have said, I think it was the MD of the Nigerian LNG who said, if you ask me what the fuel for the future would be, I would say gas, gas, and gas. Little wonder the minister declared it the year of gas. So we are here today for the rollout of the National Gas Expansion Program, from power generation to the industries, to the cars driving, and to the houses where we cook our meals. Gas is expected to become the primary source of fuel that we use.
Yes, MC, Mr. President is here. Can we rise?
Can we please rise now and welcome His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Nigeria. National anthem, please. Manasseh, national anthem. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Welcome, Your Excellency, Mr. President. Shall we please be seated? His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCF, our President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Honorable Minister of Petroleum Resources. His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished senators here present and chairmen of relevant Senate committees. Honorable members of the House of Representatives here present. Honorable ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Honorable Minister of State Petroleum Resources. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa. His Excellency Ambassador Ibrahim Gambari, Chief of Staff of the President. The distinguished Head of Service. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources. Heads of ministry agencies under the ministry. Chief Operating Officers of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the Managing Directors of the Nnpc subsidiaries, Presidents of Labor Organization and Trade Union Congresses, Captains of Industry, Gentlemen of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the presidential rollout of the National Gas Expansion Program here at the Nnpc Mega Station, Ilugbe, Abuja. It's going to be quite a short event, and hence I will go straight into the proceedings of the afternoon. My name is Richmond Osuji, and I have the privilege and honor of mastering this event today. And quickly, without wasting much of our time, I'll switch gears now to the welcome address, as I ask you to join me in welcoming the Group Managing Director of the Nnpc, Malam Mele Kolo Kiari, for this address.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Muhammad Buhari, Commander-in-Chief, and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, Professor Yemi Osibajo, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Secretary to Government of the Federation, the Chief of Staff to the President, distinguished members of the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives present here, members of the Federal Executive Council, honorable ministers, especially the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, gentlemen of the press, the President of Nigeria Labour Congress, represented ably here by the Deputy Vice President, and also the President of the Trade Union Congress, Comrade Quadri, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, let me begin by thanking Your Excellency for leading this important transition from petrol to cheaper gas-powered transportation system for our country. Mr. President, the use of compressed natural gas, CNG, as well as liquefied petroleum gas to power automobiles has continued to get acceptance across the world due to its low cost and low impact on the environment. It is therefore provides a cheaper and cleaner alternative to petroleum motor spirits, popularly referred to as petrol. Your Excellency, from 2016 to 2019, the federal government spent over 3 trillion naira subsidizing the pump price of petroleum, particularly for PMS. While strong market forces continue to keep cost of supply higher than the approved PPRA ceiling. This situation has deprived our nation of the anticipated prosperity as the resources required to build critical infrastructure, improve the economy, extract private investment, and generate jobs for our people has been depleted by the subsidy regime. And most of, Mr. President, the subsidy regime do not benefit the ordinary Nigerians, which you are very, very passionate about. With the collapse of the global economy, Mr. President, due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, the country lacks the resources required to sustain the onerous subsidy regime. Thus, in March 2020, we brought into effect the deregulation of the downstream sector of the Nigerian oil and gas industry, which brought end to fuel subsidy in our country. The federal government, being aware of the potential impact of this decision on the cost of transportation, initiated a transition to auto gas as a cheap alternative fuel aimed at deepening domestic gas utilization. Mr. President, Nnpc is expanding the natural gas footprint across the nation in order to support industrialization and job creation through the ongoing gas infrastructure project, including the Orbit 3 gas pipeline connecting east and the west, the ELPS 2, which is expected to boost supply to the Western Corridor, and the AKK pipeline that will supply gas to Abuja, the Federal Capital Authority, Kanuda, and Kaduna States ultimately. And these projects are well on course, Mr. President. Under your leadership, Mr. President, and the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, the Ministry of Petroleum is working towards the implementation of the palliative measures agreed with organized level. Today, Your Excellency, Mr. President, you will be launching at this spot, 5 gas-powered transit buses and 10 converted buses for some of our agencies. And of course, with the continued agreement that will extend this to 1 million cars by the end of 2021. To support this effort, Mr. President, Nnpc is providing will provide free combustion service in some selected Nnpc retail stations to assist interested motorists switch from PMS to autogas, especially in areas with existing autogas service stations in the Federal Capital Territory, Kaduna, Kano, Kogi, Kwara, Ogun, Ondo, Oyo, Lagos, Edo, Delta, and Rivers State and Bayelsa State. Nnpc is expanding this initiative to all Nnpc retail stations across the nation, while assuring motorists of steady availability of auto gas at competitive prices. Mr. President, we are profoundly grateful to Your Excellency for this cash gesture to the earnings of Nigeria by bringing succor to them and providing them the cheap fuel. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. The GMD of Nnpc, Malam Kiari. Of great importance there to note is the willingness of the Nnpc to do some conversion for motorists at no cost. Very much. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're now switching gears to a remarks by His Excellency Chief Timothy Silva, Honorable Minister of State, Petroleum Resources. Let's now welcome him as he gives us his ministerial address at this rollout program of the National Gas Expansion Program. Sound.
Your Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, Commander-in-Chief, and the Honorable Minister of Petroleum of the Federal Republic. Your Excellency, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Chief of Staff to the President, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, members and leaders of the National Assembly that are here, members of the Federal Executive Council that are present, the GMD of Nnpc, and other heads of agencies under the Ministry of Petroleum, the leadership of organized labor, and let me specially recognize the chairman of the National Gas Expansion Program and his team, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am very delighted to be standing here before you on this day, which marks the beginning of a new era in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. In line with the aspirations of our dear President, Muhammadu Buhari, we have initiated efforts to deliver sustainable energy by improving gas availability and accessibility, boosting gas-based industrialization, and promoting economic diversification. The Ministry of Petroleum Resources has begun implementation of these initiatives to drive home Mr. President's directives. This administration is dedicated to implementing programs that are focused on improving the life of its citizens, creating jobs, building indigenous technical expertise, and stimulating other sectors of the economy to address unemployment amongst our youth, which, despite increased activity in the oil and gas sector, remains one of our biggest challenges. We must, as one country, think of the long-term development strategies to grow our economy in real terms. A significant part of this is the harnessing of our natural gas resources to focus on manufacturing and productivity. Not until this is done can we achieve the desired results. With this in mind, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, which, as you all know, is headed by Mr. President himself, is focusing on the development of skills, technology and manpower, the growth of LPG, CNG, and LNG. In January of this year, I inaugurated the National Gas Expansion Program as a mechanism to boost utilization of natural gas in the short and medium term. This is also part of the federal government's bid to key into the global shift from crude oil to gas and other renewable sources of energy, as re-emphasized in my declaration of the year 2020 as the year of gas. As part of the rollout strategy, which Mr. President is unveiling today, selected stations across all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory will start the installation of facilities for gas products and conversion capabilities. The process is now well on course, as we can see today. The availability of auto gas as an alternative fuel will afford Nigerians cheaper, cleaner, and additional choice of fuel. Cheaper than the price of PMS, cleaner for our environment, and better for our automobile and other engines. It is very important to note that this shift to gas underscores Mr. President's seriousness and determination in the development of Nigeria's vast gas resources. Under the directives of the President, we will continue to strengthen the gas value chain, as it is vital to transforming the economy of our great nation. This initiative is envisaged to create 2 million jobs per annum, promote skills acquisition, and enhance technology transfer, in addition to growing the nation's GDP. I would also like to thank Mr. President at this point, especially for his firm leadership, the NGEP team, the Nnpc, and other stakeholders, and most especially Nigerians, and specifically the maturity and patriotism shown by organized labor in the face of daunting economic challenges facing our country. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Chief Nnpc Silva, Honorable Minister of State Petroleum Resources, giving us, by way of statistics, some of the benefits that is coming the way of Nigerians because of what we do here today. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the next 5 minutes, we will try to tell you the story of auto gas dispensing, as you will be witnessing here today and in many other Nnpc stations across the country. Just rivet your eyes to the screen, and if you're watching us live, please keep your eyes on the screen as well, and let's take you on this 5 minutes journey. Shall we please have this short documentary on auto gas dispensing?
Since 2019, the federal government has been pushing for the usage of gas, CNG and LPG in automobiles. This is as the country plans to reduce the natural energy consumption of petrol and diesel by achieving a 40% fuel switch to LPG in 10 years. According to the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, His Excellency Chief Nnpc Silva, 2020 is the year of gas for the nation.
What we want to do is to introduce CNG into the market, so that if you find PMS too expensive, CNG, which is much cheaper, should be affordable to you.
The advent of COVID-19 brought about global lockdown and shutdown that led to drastic oil price drop. Nigeria was not immune to this economic downturn, as businesses and offices were shut down, with majority of Nigerians, except essential workers, staying at home. Consequently, deregulation of the petroleum industry became a viable option as subsidy became unrealistic. In realization of this fact, the federal government is putting all efforts towards deepening domestic gas utilization.
We promise the nation that we will expand the critical gas infrastructure in the country to promote the use of gas in the domestic market. These include the Escravos to Lagos pipeline system, to Obiafu to Obukom pipeline, and Ajakuta, Kaduna, Kano.
As part of efforts to mitigate the effects of deregulation and deepening domestic gas utilization, the NGEP is using all available domestic gas resources to provide cheaper and cleaner energy for Nigerians. Prior to the formal launch of the program, consultations were conducted wide and near at all levels of the business environment, with about 9,000 filling stations enjoined across the country to begin installation of facilities for gas, namely autogas, CNG, and liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, available at over 18 locations at the moment, with plans to have more in the future.
By the time you get used to gas to fuel your car, which probably will be like half the price of petrol, you probably will never think of petrol anymore.
To ensure everyone is carried along, the federal government is supporting Nigerian workers to ease cost of transportation by providing 105 auto gas buses, with 5 to be handed over to NLC at this ceremony. To make the program sustainable for private investors, the federal government is releasing the sum of 250 billion naira through the Central Bank of Nigeria for interested investors to have easy and cheap access to the auto gas program. Since the initiative is entirely new and occurring in the mid-downstream value chain, the federal government is conducting various capacity building trainings for individuals at all levels to build up on the technical expertise on the ground. The autogas is cleaner and environmentally friendly, as it significantly helps reduce CO2 emission. Autogas is more efficient and cheaper than petrol. But people need not discard their existing cars or buses for autogas. Motorists can simply convert to a dual-fueled car that operates on both petrol and autogas at choice. The National Gas Expansion Program to launch is a high point for Nigeria. The auto gas program to be launched is a promise delivered, as it goes live in all states of the Federation in the coming months. With this giant step towards autogas, fashioned to fit the country, Nigeria has joined the league of countries like Egypt, India, Morocco, New Zealand, France, Australia, and the United States of America, who have been using natural gas for years and decades.
Your Excellency. Sound, okay. Well, that is the kind of applause you give me up to get to the microphone, but for what the Ministry of Petroleum Resources led by His Excellency the President has done, I think they deserve a better round of applause. I do not know if you were listening to those numbers, the number of jobs that could be created, all the intervention by the CBN to all the stakeholders who will be interested in this industry, in this space. I think it is something between inauguration and rollout in record time. The ministry deserves truly a remarkable applause. Congratulations, I say, to each and every Nigerian because of what is coming. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will now switch gears to do the formal unveiling of this rollout. Indeed, listen to a presidential address as I move over now to the villa here in Abuja and listen to His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Mr. President, sir, the virtual stage is yours.
Members of the National Assembly, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Chief of Staff, Honorary Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Group Managing Director, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, President and members of Nigerian Labour Congress, our Royal Fathers, senior government officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with that I welcome you all to this noble occasion of the National Auto Gas Rollout Initiative, an important deliverable of the natural gas expansion program. Today's event signals the realization of government's commitment to ensure the domestic utilization of the nation's vast gas resources, which currently stands at over 2 trillion cubic feet, through the development of robust gas infrastructure, expansion of gas-based industries, massive adoption of gas as auto and cooking fuel, with the overall objective of employing same as catalyst for the growth and development of the Nigerian economy. It is an important milestone in the widening of domestic gas supply and the provision of cleaner, safer, and better energy options for Nigerians. As key strategy, I have directed the Minister of State, the Group Managing Director of the Nnpc, and all managers of the Natural Gas Expansion Program to adopt a market-led approach in the implementation of their mandate. The program will focus on encouraging investments through the establishment of conducive and enabling environment in order to encourage and galvanize potential investors in the gas subsector of our resource-rich economy. The program will also focus on other vital aspects of the value chain, especially capacity building, with special emphasis on technical expertise and confidence building with consumers. It is no longer news that the vast natural gas resources which Nigeria is endowed with has hitherto been used suboptimally as a result of dearth of gas processing facilities and infrastructural connectivity for effective and optimal domestic utilization. As I mentioned above, with a proven reserve of about 203 trillion cubic feet and additional upside of 600 trillion cubic feet, ranking Nigeria as the 9th in the world currently, the need for domestic gas expansion and utilization is apparent. Therefore, the rollout of the natural gas expansion program, Auto Gas Initiative, is coming at the right time, especially in light of global crude oil market fluctuations, coupled with the full deregulation of the local PMS market. These developments have made it imperative to focus on gas as an alternative fuel to move Nigeria from the conventional dependence on white products for autos and prime movers of industrial applications to cleaner, more available, accessible, and affordable energy source. The outcome will not only cushion the effect of the downstream regulation that this government has to painfully implement, but also create new markets and enormous job opportunities for our people. We are confident that the Auto Gas Initiative will lead to increased domestic gas utilization and enrich the trajectory of national economic growth and development. I therefore encourage everyone to embrace gas in form of LPG, CNG, and LNG as an alternative fuel for autos and other prime movers. Let me now express deep appreciation to Nigerians for their patience and to organized labor for its maturity and patriotism as we collectively navigate these global economic and other challenges. I now roll out the natural gas expansion program with the Auto Gas Initiative as a first phase for the benefit of all Nigerians. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources is hereby directed to commence the process of handover of mass transit buses, organized labor, as part of our government's pledge to continue providing support that will ease transportation challenges Nigerians are facing at this time. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I think we can do better with that applause for His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Shall we now please rise? We will take the national anthem. Mr. President will proceed to other matters. If heard indirect, we will continue in the room. Manasseh, national anthem. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and God bless our president. We may be seated now, please, in the room. We may be seated now. we'll continue just because, as you can see, the space we have for all that we need to do is not much. So please, let's just follow my directive now. I would like to call on two people. The first person will be handing over the keys to the Honorable Minister, who will do as the President has directed. The second person will then lead the Honorable Minister, the GMD, the member of the National Assembly, to the CNG pump. From the CNG pump, they will then proceed to the LPG pump. And thereafter, if there are press interviews I'll be taking, I'm sure we'll do all of that in that time. But for now, again, I want to reiterate, the space is not sufficient to carry everybody. So please, I beg that we all remain seated. As I ask Brenda, yes, Brenda would be waiting. I'm sure you'll be waiting somewhere around the bus. Where's Brenda? She's waiting around the bus, I guess. Okay, you are there. Awesome. Okay. So, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister of States and GMD, and our dignitaries in the front row, you can go with Brenda to the bus. We'll begin with the bus. Now, after the key is handed over, you will proceed, led by, the tour in that case will be led by Haruna Salisu. Haruna Salisu will lead Your Excellencies to the CNG pump after the bus. So at the bus, the labor to whom the key is handed, one of them will drive, or whoever is assigned to drive, will drive one of the buses to the pump. Okay. Thank you very much. I am told that before we go to do all of that, we'll just quickly take, please indulge me, for the next 3-5 minutes, indulge me to take a vote of thanks by the Permanent Secretary of the Honorable Federal Minister of Petroleum Resources. We'll welcome Mr. Nabasu. You're welcome, sir. Bitrus, Mr. Bitrus Nabasu Bako, you're welcome.
Your Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, Mr. Yemi Osinbanjo, SAN, GCON, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Sound. Sound.
Sorry for that break in transmission. The Chief of Staff, the President,
Sound. Please, whoever is touching the cables, I beg you, please stop touching it, please. Thank you. Sound. Please, whoever is touching the cables, I beg you, please stop touching it, please. Thank you.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation,
capacity.
Chief Boss, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and my boss, His Excellency members of the National Assembly present, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The road towards the rollout of the Nigerian National Gas Expansion Program has been the road towards the rollout of the National Gas Expansion Program has been a very eventful one with its numerous challenges, most of which is occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic that has brought most economies almost to a standstill. The successful rollout of the program today is a testament of the resilience of my boss, Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, His Excellency Nnpc Silva, riding on the support of Mr. President, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Recall that early this year, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources declared 2020 as the year of gas, and thereafter, in February 2020, inaugurated the Committee on National Gas Expansion Program to ensure the actualization of that declaration. And today, we have witnessed the rollout of the program by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. The importance of gas for both domestic and auto consumption cannot be overemphasized. As we all know, when compared to fossil fuel, gas provides a cleaner, cheaper, and more environmentally friendly energy source, and this is why Nigerians should embrace its use. On this note, let me extend my gratitude to the Almighty God for making this day a reality. May I, on behalf of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, His Excellency Nnpc Silva, extend our deep appreciation and for cited discourse, which will ensure the effective utilization of our abundant gas resources. Let me single out for appreciation the committee members on the National Gas Expansion Program who took it upon themselves to ensure that today's rollout was successful. My sincere appreciation to these hardworking and committed committee members led by Dr. Mohammed M. Ibrahim. To the management and staff of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Chief Executive Officers of agencies, the GMD, Nnpc, the Director DPR, the Executive Secretary NCDMB, the Executive Secretary PEF, the Executive Secretary PPPRA, the Executive Secretary PTDF, the DG NNRA, and the Principal PTI. The Executive Secretary PTDF, the DG NNRA, and the Principal PTI. All industry specialists, my appreciation to you for your tireless efforts at ensuring the success of this rollout. Nigerians are counting on us to ensure its effective and sustainable implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, we appreciate you for coming and for giving us this coverage. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, we thank you sincerely. Thank you, and I wish you all safe return to your destinations. Thank you once more.
Thank you very much, Pamsek, and most sincere apologies for that mix-up of interference there. Most sincere apologies. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and now we will continue to the rollout proper. As I said, the first step, as Mr. President directed, will be the handover of the keys. It will happen on the bus. You see the bus over there. So two people only will be going to the CNG pump, and that is the minister and the GMD. You understand the sensitivities of gas and the equipment and also, please, two people only, the GMD and the minister will be going to the pump. But for now, sirs, can you please rise, go with Brenda to the bus? Can I have the NLC Vice President and the TUC President to support? Just go to the bus over there. Once the dignitaries finish with the bus, only two of them will proceed to the CNG pump. Only two of them will proceed to the LPG pump. The rest can remain seated and just witness it on the screen here I think crew will do their best to put it on the screen. Sound. Excuse me. Sound. Please, we need to. Sound.
I'll give you the here right there.
Okay. As directed by Mr. President, I hereby hand over the keys to the first set of 5 buses to the leadership of organized labor for your use. In the next phase, we'll be handing over keys of over 100 buses to you, and other phases will follow. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they will drive the bus when you come to take. Let me just tell them.
Please, only 2 people here, please. Cameraman, leave there. Only 2 people here, please. Only 2 people. Cameraman, can you just move back, please? Can you leave there, cameraman?
Kitchen.
Sound. Sound. Susan. If when can you just move back, please? Sound. Sound. Sound.
Sound. 1, 2, 3.
Sound.
All right, so this is it. It started sometime in February this year here in Abuja when the president, through the Minister for State Petroleum, announced during the Nigeria International Petroleum Summit that this year will be a year of gas. This is quite instructive because despite all that has gone through, the world has gone through in terms of economic downturn, oil prices going down, the gas revolution initiative of the federal government is still ongoing. And this is a practical term and a practical issue happening here today. And now, so you see some of the buses that are littered around here have already been converted to CNG. Look at that one driving out there to the right. This bus right now, which will be given or has been given to the Nigeria Labour Congress, is running on a CNG. Now, so there are two types of gas here. The LPG, which is the liquefied petroleum gas, and the CNG, which is compressed natural gas. For the diesel engines, I understand, or what really works for the diesel engines are the CNG. So it's going to be one-on-one for this the diesel engine. For the petrol engines, the LPG is more suitable. Now, from the pricing that we understand or we have, in terms of price, comparative advantage in terms of pricing, for petrol run engines, and any petrol run engines actually can use the LPG alternative. So two things: it is comparative in terms of pricing, and it's also a clean energy supply. So for the LPG petrol run engine or converted petrol run engines, you can actually have a car run on both the fuel, the PMS, and the LPG, which is the liquefied petroleum gas. Now, petrol runs at 170 per liter, for instance, and LPG per unit or equivalent of that in terms of liter will be about 110. So the comparative advantage is wherever 1 liter of fuel can take you to, 1 liter equivalent of LPG will also take you there for a more cheaper rate. And it also comes as a clean energy. Now, if you speak to the experts, they will tell you that why we prefer, or why CNG is preferred for diesel engine is because of the composition of the engines of diesel-run cars or vehicles. So diesel-run engines and big engines will run on compressed natural gas or natural gas. These are the two alternatives. But right now, the launch is about the CNG, which is the compressed natural gas. And for cars will run in terms of conversion on liquefied petroleum gas, which is the same gas you use at home. So this is brilliant and this is interesting because it's happening in Nigeria and it's happening for the first time. And what we also understand that this pilot is happening also at the Nnpc retail station. The minister, GMD, earlier said that all of the retail stations, so don't bother about how this will be dispensed because all of the retail stations of Nnpc will be the pilot places where some of these things will be happening. And that's what we have for now.
Sound.
Have the Nnpc retail office. This is the CNG expansion program being inaugurated here by the president. The buses are ready. Over 100 buses for the NLC.